Oh, welcome everybody. So in this video, we will discuss about the proxy. What is proxy, type of proxy, forward proxy and reverse proxy, and functionality of that proxy, proxy deployment method and use cases, and benefit of proxy server. Okay, so before we start discussing about the proxy, let's understand the client and server. So, client server model. So, a client and server networking model is a model in which computers such as server provide the network service to other computer such as client to perform a user-based task. So in this networking model, we are explaining like understanding like client server communication. For example, if right now this is the browser which act as a client, and I'm trying to access this website. So this there is a one server who provide the service where I hosted this website. So my browser will work as a client and providing like serving the service. It's that device we can say that as a server. So client server, like when I initiate any request to server, so first it will establish the TCP connection. So by establishing the TCP connection, like three-way handshake, make sure it's complete between client and server, and after that it will provide the and perform the necessary action for that connection. Okay, but when proxy device is there, so it will be different. Like client will initiate the connection to proxy server, and it will establish the connection between client and server. Okay, TCP three-way handshake will happen between client and proxy server. And after that, proxy server will establish the TCP three-way handshake with the server. Once it get the response from server, proxy server will provide the response. So here, two TCP session will like one TCP three-way handshake complete here and another one here. So there is a two separate session. Okay, there is a no direct TCP connection between client and server. Okay, so what is the proxy? So here, proxy is the is this software or hardware device which can help us to obtain the resource by other computers. Like it acts as a go between from client to target server. Okay, so there is a no direct connection between computer and the server, rather than computer request a web page or file house on the targeted server. Okay, so let me explain in another diagram. Like, so browser, for example, if I will try to access the yahoo.com, then browser will initiate the TCP handshake with the proxy, and proxy device will perform the TCP handshake with the actual server yahoo.com. Okay, and once it get the response, then it will like after the TCP handshake, three-way handshake, like it's perform the HTTP request, and it will forward to a server, and it server return that content. Okay, and after that, uh, once it get the response back to browser via proxy, uh, if it's not required, then they terminate the or close the TCP connection. Okay, so two separate TCP three-way handshake happen. So it will act as a there is a no direct communication between client and server. So another benefit is like we can hide our internal network, right? Internal resource to expose to the internet. Okay, so let me discuss about the benefit first. Okay, so benefit means it's increase the security, right? We are not exposing our client to internet. So instead of the establish the session from client side, it will establish it from the proxy to server. Okay, internet anonymity, geolocation flexibility, cost effective, data acceleration, bandwidth and conversion, bypass censorship and content restriction, and filtering and control. Okay, these are the benefit. Uh, okay. So now let me discuss about the what is the forward proxy and what is the reverse proxy. Okay, to understand, I created one diagram. So generally, for example, if users or clients need to connect with the web server. Okay, it will go via their router or network device and then internet and then actual server, right? But uh, here different is forward proxy and reverse proxy is like forward proxy is used by client such as web browser, uh, for example, if I'm trying to access something via proxy is configured in my browser, so it considered as a forward proxy. Okay, where reverse proxy is used for server, web server. Okay, so it will protect the server and like for example in reverse proxy we can like load balancer, web, all our device work as a reverse proxy device which protect the web server. Okay, so for example if a user trying to access like website cyberbrew.in, so traffic will forward from client to internet, outgoing the traffic from user to internet, so it's a forward proxy. And here reverse proxy where receive the traffic from the internet and uh, and towards the it will forward to that web server, like it's a incoming traffic. Okay, so whenever we are accessing any website or something, all the web servers are protected behind the reverse proxy device like web, load balancer, uh, to okay. And if we are using the forward proxy like uh, in a in office, like in corporate area, like we are accessing any website or anything. Uh, so not in all the organization, but some organization are using a web proxy to catch the traffic of web pages and content filtering and restrict some content access. Okay, so forward proxy is a proxy configured to handle the request of group of client under the local administrator control to known control to unknown and attribute group of resource that are outside of their control. Okay, so this is the forward proxy. Now reverse proxy is a proxy configured to handle a request from a group of remote, this is the remote, right, and attribute clients to a group of known resource, these are known resource, right, under the control of local administrator. Another kind of forwarding proxy server is called as an open proxy as well. Okay. Mm, okay. Now let me discuss about the explicit proxy and transparent proxy and other types of proxy. Okay. So just a minute. Okay. Before that, we will discuss about the functionality of our forward proxy and reverse proxy. Okay. So forward proxy, it's a client's anonymity. So forward proxy conceptually client's original IP address, adding extra layer of security during the internet access. So there is a no actual IP address is exposed to the internet. Access management, right? Organization can employ forward proxy to limit the access to specific resource, safeguarding and sensitive information, right? It's provide also catching, like by catching commonly access resource, forward proxy can enhance a client internet response time, right? It can catch the web pages or any most access web pages as well as it provide the traffic control as well as, so a forward proxy can manage and control the network traffic flow to optimize the bandwidth, right? If we are restricting something and then it will save our bandwidth, right? So unwanted streaming and unwanted downloading and logging. So forward proxy can record all the outgoing request and response, aiding in monitoring and auditing. So these all are about the forward proxies functionality. Now let's discuss about the reverse proxies first functionality. Okay, so it's a backend anonymity. So backends servers remain hidden from the external network and protected against the potential vulnerability. Right, this is the genuine request. But for example, if some attacker can try to access the web server or try to attack the web server, so it can protect by reverse proxy such as a web device, layer 7 device. Okay, now DDoS mitigation. Okay, if is there any DDoS attack happening from the outside towards the server, it can also protect. SSS offloading. So uh, uh, reverse proxy device can also handle the decryption of incoming request and encryption of the server response. Okay, so it it's a relieving backend server from this computational intensive task. Like, okay, for example, if encryption, decryption, SSL loading, offloading, and onloading happening on web server, so it will use the CPU utilization, right? It's a high CPU utilization. Instead of doing that in on web server, we can perform that SSL offboarding on reverse proxy device like load balancer or anything. Data compression, so reduce the size of server response for faster data transfer, response cache. So we can also so server previously cache a response to identical requests to improve the speed and reducing the server load. A direct server of static content, so manage the delivery of static files like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, images, and video directly to the client. And URL content rewriting, like modify the URL and content before forwarding request to the backend server. Okay, that can also we can perform on a reverse proxy device. And now, okay, now proxy deployment. This all about the forward proxy deployment. So proxy deployment, like, so there are three type of proxy. There are many, we can say, like, uh, but majorly we can consider under this three category: explicit proxy, transparent proxy, and hybrid. Okay, so these are all three different method. Okay, and there have different use cases as well. As so, for example, explicit proxy means uh, in our corporate office, right? We in browser and system, we are configuring the proxy to redirect all web traffic toward the specific proxy server, right? Or sometimes we are configuring the proxy pickup file, right? Instead of proxy server, pickup file or pickup URL as well as, right? So these all are explicit proxy. So manually we are configuring the proxy here. Okay, and we are manually proxy configuring the proxy here. So use case like in most of the corporate office, right, to control the web traffic. So unwanted streaming and unwanted uh, website or URL categorization we can block. Another method is transparent proxy. So in transparent proxy, user not aware about the proxy server or proxies deployed. So uh, generally they will forward the traffic to network or gateway device, and from there it automatically redirect to the uh, uh, proxy server. So user is not aware about the actual proxy server. So like bring your own device. Like in some case, like we are visiting the mall or we visiting the partner or customer. So at that time, our we carry our device. So in some corporate area, they are also preparing to deploy the transparent proxy. Another proxy is hybrid. Okay, hybrid means they are using both. So for local or office users, they are using a explicit proxy, but remote users like or any visitor users, uh, not on all the scenario, but sometimes they are mostly preferring for remote users who is carrying that device, like bring our device. So on that scenario, they are deploying in hybrid as well as. So deployment like explicit proxy deployment, like client in the browser, or so we are forcefully uh, uh, redirecting the traffic to our proxy device, like by configuring the proxy server, like, okay. Okay, so for Windows, like here we can set up use proxy server. Okay, proxy IP address port, and if we need any exception, then we can also use that as well as. Okay, and we can also use a script. Okay, so in browser as well as we can configure like Chrome, Firefox. So generally, Chrome is detecting from the system, but in some scenario like Firefox, we need to manually configure the proxy in browser. Okay, so this is the deployment method of explicit proxy. Like client will forward the traffic to web proxy device, explicit proxy, and it will redirect you to the or pass to the internet. In transparent proxy, user are not aware about the proxy. So okay, it will forward to the gateway, and gateway will forward the traffic to proxy device, and proxy device will forward the traffic back to router, and then it will pass to the internet. So another question, like what is the difference between proxy server and VPN server, and proxy versus net, because net is also hiding our actual IP address, right? So let's first discuss about the proxy server and VPN server. Like, so proxy server does not encrypt your traffic, okay? And VPN server, like, it will encrypt your traffic, okay? And proxy server are less secured. VPN servers are more secure. Proxy server work as an application layer level, and VPN server are work as a system level, like network layer 3 device, right? Proxy server is mostly used for HTTP, DNS as well as, but most preferably HTTP. And VPN server can use as a all kind of traffic. We can encrypt all the traffic and pass through it to the VPN, means actual destination. Okay. Another question we like, what is the difference between proxy and net, right? Another question, like proxy and versus net, right? So net operate at the layer 3 of OSI model, right? Like network layer, all right? But proxy generally operate at the layer 7, right? We discussed. Net and proxy are trying to solve slightly different problem. Like net is hiding a number of private IPs behind a smaller number of public IPs to alleviate the shortage of IP address, while proxy are creating a network choke point for security, auditing, and performance reasons, right? So generally, like this type of question we can expect when we are attempting any interview for cybersecurity, and especially when you are applying any job for a web proxy device or load balancing or web. So now it's all about the proxy and type of proxy, deployment method at forward proxy versus reverse proxy, proxy versus VPN, and proxy versus net. Okay, there are many proxy, like we can hear like HTTP proxy, DNS proxy, SOC proxy. So for that, I will create a separate video. Yeah, thanks for watching.